Hello and welcome to this afternoon's information session on good manufacturing practice here at UTS Graduate School of Health. Thank you for taking the time out of your afternoon to join us today. My name is James. I work for the UTS Faculty of Health Marketing team. I would just like to kick things off first by paying my respects to the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, on whose ancestral land our city campus now stands. I'd also like to pay my respects to elders both past and present and acknowledge them as the true custodians of knowledge for this land. Okay, I'd now like to hand over to the presenters this evening. Firstly, Dr. Kamal Dua, and secondly, Jacqueline Berry. Cam, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you, James. I'm Dr. Kamal Dua. I'm the course coordinator for the Good Manufacturing Practice programs based at the University of Technology, Sydney.
And I'm Jacqueline Berry. I'm a consultant and lecturer with CF Pharma. CF Pharma is a consulting and training company which is focused on quality assurance and compliance in the pharmaceutical and life sciences industries.
All right. So we're going to start our presentation now. So the presentation agenda for today's what we are going to present and show you the things include why UTS, why this program is in UTS, and why you should come and join UTS. We are going to talk about the Good Manufacturing Practice program. What are the various career opportunities which are associated with this program? Because this program is really a very job-driven program in terms of the various pharmaceutical, medical device, and the biotechnology and the allied industries. We got some student success stories as well in today's presentation to share with you. And Jacqueline is going to talk about that, and you would be also able to learn more of the student success stories through our webpage at the Graduate School of Health webpage. I'm going to also cover about the various prerequisites which you are needed to get it apply and get admitted to this program, and the various scholarships options you have to apply for this program. And at the end of the session, we'll have a question answer session where both the options you can choose. Either you can type your question in a chat, or alternatively, you can even unmute yourself and can ask a question directly to us. So without any delay, let me start. So the suite of the Good Manufacturing Practice program we got at UTS, we have built that program in partnership with an industry partner called CF Pharma.
This program is primarily designed for people in the pharmaceutical, biotechnology, and medical devices sectors, and it's suitable for people looking to gain in-depth and up-to-date knowledge to advance their careers, but also for those who'd like to commence a career in this sector. The degree is professionally focused, and it's designed and delivered by industry experts, so it does provide a valuable skill set for students at all levels, and it can lead to many varied career options.
This course is really unique to UTS, and that's for the two reasons. The first important reason is because there is no other course in a whole Asia Pacific region which offers and provides a university accredited degree in the good manufacturing practice. This course is a very job driven, and you would be able to directly be able to seek opportunities in the various pharmaceutical, medical device, biotech, and the relevant industries. All the course content is being taught by the industry professionals, those who have extensive industry experience. In terms of our staff for the Good Manufacturing Practice team, the Good Manufacturing Practice program comes under the discipline of pharmacy. And the head of the discipline of pharmacy is Professor Kylie Williams. I am the course coordinator, and we have the various lecturers and associates from the CF Pharma team which are actually involved in teaching this program. And that includes David Spalding, Dr. Rick Ang, Jacqueline, and Martina. All these people have extensive industry experience, and that's what it's correlate when it comes to the classroom setting in teaching these courses. On top of that, we also have various associates of the Graduate School of Health. These people are also from different industries across the globe. These people not only just provide the feedback in improving our course content from time to time, but also help us in delivering various guest lectures on the topic which are in the need at that point of time during the course, and also helping with the various industrial research projects which forms a part of the Master of Good Manufacturing Practice in the second year. That includes Dr. Michael John Rathbone from New Zealand, who is having his own company back in New Zealand, Dr. Humberto Zardo from United States of America, Dr. Sajjad Khan from Cadilla, Melbourne, and Dr. Amit Gupta from Zydus Cadilla as well. Now, looking at our program, we got 2 intakes for the Good Manufacturing Practice program. We got autumn session and the spring session. The autumn session starts in February and concludes in June, while the spring session, for which we are currently seeking the applications, it starts in July and it ends in December. In terms of the different programs we got in the Good Manufacturing Practice, the major hierarchy starts from the graduate certificate in Good Manufacturing Practice. The graduate certificate comprises of 4 subjects, and each subject is a 6 credit point, and that makes a 24 credit point of the graduate certificate. If a student finishes 4 subjects and further move up the hierarchy of the programs and covers another 4 subjects in the next semester, and that makes a total of 8 subjects of a 48 credit, you are eligible to get the graduate diploma in Good Manufacturing Practice. And subsequently, in the second year, which comprises of another 8 subjects, when you finish that and the total credit point you earn of 96 credits, that makes Master of Good Manufacturing Practice program. So many people in our program, they start and come with us with graduate certificate. And then when they get the taste of the program, they automatically, once they finish the 4 subjects, they get invitation for the next level of the program. That can be a diploma. And as you finish the diploma, you are eligible to even, by invitation, as you finish, you'll get an invitation to join the master's program, or from the beginning, you can even enroll in the master program if you are fulfilling all the prerequisites. Now, if we look at the various subjects we got in our Good Manufacturing Practice program, if you look clearly on each and every subject, they are very industry focused and driven subjects. This is what is actually the industries are seeking the candidates to get robust in. And this is what we are delivering in our course. There are not any course which are pure basic course, which are being taught in the various pharmacy disciplines across the different countries. They are very thoroughly sharp edge-cutting subjects towards the industry. Now, if you look at the first 8 subjects, they are the 8 subjects which makes the graduate diploma. Oh, okay, so let me just tell one thing, that there is one subject which is compulsory in all the 3 subjects, in all the 3 programs: graduate certificate, graduate diploma, and the master's. You have to complete international GMPs and quality assurance subject, which is highlighted actually, which is bold and highlighted in the calendar B autumn session. That is a compulsory subject in all the 3 programs, and it's only offered in autumn, as I mentioned. Now, when you complete the first, this subject, and you can choose any 3 subjects from the first 8 subjects, you are eligible to get a graduate certificate. So there is an option in graduate certificate, apart from international GMP and quality assurance, you can select any 3 subjects. But with graduate diploma, you have to finish all the first 8 subjects in 2 semesters. It's not necessarily that you need to take all the 4 subjects in per semester. For on-campus students, it is a different situation, while we have quite a number of distance learning students. So the distance learning student which Jacqueline is going to talk, they sometimes take 1 subject per semester, 2 subjects per semester. It all depends on their work, how much of the time they are being given to their work and how much time they can actually give to the study. And when you come to the second year and you finish another 8 subjects which are highlighted, they will give you, that will make you eligible to get a master's in Good Manufacturing Practice. In these second year, we got 2 industrial research projects. Now, these 2 industrial research projects, so far, we are quite fortunate to send our students to different pharmaceutical, med device, cosmetics, nutraceutical industries around Sydney area, where the people actually can go and have done their research projects. While they have not only got a real workplace environment to apply the theoretical knowledge and the skills they have gained in their classroom setting, but they have also been retained by those companies once they have finished their course. We got various success stories like that, and few of that Jacqueline is going to cover those. On top of that, if you look, recently we have actually modified and amended some of our subjects. And that we have to do because there is a lot of demand coming for the medical devices and biotech manufacturing. These are the two new areas which nowadays the industries are looking for. And these are the two new subjects which have just, and so the biotech manufacturing we have just introduced in the last year and in the last semester. And now we are going to introduce the medical devices subject. So all these subjects are really very robust and industry focused.
The GMP courses at UTS are offered in two different study modes. So there's the standard on-campus mode and there's the distance learning mode. The distance learning mode is a completely online study option. So students enrolled in the distance learning program study independently in a collaborative online environment with regular access to the class teacher. Online study is a practical option if you're currently working full-time, because the study can be done whenever it suits you. There's no requirements to meet at any particular time, and a typical week for the distance learning student consists of studying the provided material, participating in interactive exercises, and preparing a response to a discussion topic. Students then also read and respond to the discussion posts that other students have made, and that provides an opportunity for group learning and sharing of industrial experience. If you choose to study by distance mode, we expect that it will require approximately 3 to 6 hours of study per subject per week. You can study the course full-time, 4 subjects in a semester, or part-time, 2 subjects per semester, or even just 1 subject per semester for the graduate certificate or the graduate diploma. The assessments are the same as those completed by the on-campus or standard mode students, and if there are presentations required, then we do those over video conferencing. So there are 2 options. There's the standard on-campus mode of study, which has live classes, which are face-to-face, we expect next semester, COVID permitting. And then there's the distance mode of study, which is independent learning online. So if you decide to proceed with the course, make sure that you consider which mode is right for you and enroll in the correct mode of study when you complete your enrollment process. Students who complete these courses find employment in many varied fields, and whilst the typical path might be to seek employment in quality aspects of the pharmaceutical industry, there are broader options such as the veterinary and food industries, and also employment in consultancy, regulatory affairs and laboratories, and even warehousing and distribution centres. So let's have a look at where some of our former students have gone after they completed their GMP studies. We've got Prashant here. He initially studied chemistry and worked as a quality control officer at a pharmaceutical in India for about 5 years before he started looking for potential study options to further his career. And he came across the UTS Master of GMP program and decided to study on campus in Australia to furnish himself with the skills that he thought he would need to progress. And now he works as a quality assurance associate for the Sydney-based Pharmacobiotechnologies group, where he's working in the areas of validation, stability, training, and product release. And he's finding his job to be a great opportunity to apply the knowledge that he gained during his Master of GMP studies at UTS. Esther, in the middle there, was part of our first intake of distance learning students, completing her graduate certificate through the online program. Esther decided to study as a distance student because she works full-time as a manufacturing pharmacist, and also she lives in South Australia, so she wasn't able to attend campus. She commenced her studies hoping to gain a stronger working understanding of GMP and to make meaningful changes in her workplace and achieve greater opportunities at work. Esther has found studying online to be very convenient, although also challenging, and she enjoyed being able to go through the course at her own pace, but also found that she needed to be self-motivated and keep herself accountable for keeping up with the work. Finally, Anjali, previously qualified as a pharmacist, but wanted to focus more on quality assurance and GMP, and she decided to study the Master of GMP on campus at UTS. Anjali did her research project with Inova and has since been retained by Inova in a full-time role, which sees her conducting product quality reviews, undertaking statistical analyses, and presenting QA training sessions. So you can see that our students come from a variety of backgrounds, and they also end up putting their education to use in different ways. If you want to read about these or other students, you can find other student stories on the UTS Graduate School of Health webpage. And now let's hear from two of our current students. I'd like to introduce Khalil Dalvi, one of our current on-campus master's degree students. Thanks, Khalil, for giving your time this evening. Khalil has previously studied at bachelor and master's level in biotechnology, and he'll share his experience of being an on-campus Master of GMP student at UTS. Over to you, Khalil.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you, Cam and James. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining the Master of GMP info session. My name is Khalil, and I'm in my final semester as a full-time Master of Good Manufacturing Practice student. I want to start by telling you a little bit about myself, and I hope that it'll help you understand why I personally chose to do this course. My educational background, as Jacqueline mentioned, is in biotechnology. I did my bachelor's in India, and I went on to do my master's in Melbourne. I ended up being at a bit of a crossroads after this, as I had a strong interest in healthcare and pharmaceuticals, but could not see myself in a research environment at the time. I was working in a compounding facility in Sydney for a few years, trying to leverage my knowledge in the field with something practical. And I decided to pursue opportunities in pharmaceutical development and especially clinical trials. On speaking with people in the industry, I was advised that the technical nature of the industry requires directly relevant experience or a strong knowledge base of the regulatory environment, and good practices in every aspect, what is referred to as GXP. The Master of GMP course at UTS, it fit the bill perfectly for my career goals and what I wanted from the course program. It perfectly sets out in learning of quality assurance, regulatory affairs, and in aspects of clinical trials. Regarding my experience in this course over the last 2 years, it has personally been a fantastic challenge. It's very different from anything I've studied before. In a way, it was exactly what I was after, as it meant I was learning new things that I could not have picked up unless I'd been in the industry for years. And on interacting with students who do have industry experience, they tell me it really opens up the barriers that separates the understanding of various roles in the field. It's a very hands-on environment, and the lecturers, they encourage questions and discussion in the class through the normal traditional teaching methods, workshops, and even site visits. Even with the current pandemic situation, Jacqueline, Rick, and Cam, and all the admin staff have been working really hard to ensure that everything is progressing as normally as can be. As a further point, the assignment work really seems to reflect what would be expected of us in a work environment, and I've gained valuable knowledge through the feedback I'm given by the staff. As for UTS in general, there are several reasons why I chose to study here. There's the enormous convenience of studying at a top-level university in what is literally central Sydney, which brings all that the city can offer. Now, of course, it hasn't happened too much over the last year, but I'm hearing of classes potentially resuming on campus very soon, depending on the COVID situation, of course. We have already started visiting campus again for visits to the biologics facility. Separately, the industry tie-ups are also excellent. I'm currently finishing my research project with Inova Pharmaceuticals, which is a multinational pharmaceutical organization. My other classmates have also been placed with other well-known manufacturers in Sydney, as well as with a member of the Therapeutic Goods Agency, the TGA over here. And look, I have a few more weeks to go in this course, and we have been getting into the nitty-gritty of it all over the last few months, really focusing on the specific applications of GMP in various aspects of pharmaceutical development, manufacturing, clinical trials, and especially enjoying the research projects that are part of the final year. And looking beyond the time I have left in this course, I'm confident in the ability to use the skills and the training that I'm receiving here in a work environment when I graduate. Thank you.
Sorry, thanks, Khalil. And our second current student is Harsha. Harsha Gupta is the Senior Manager of Manufacturing and Process Development at Sonata Therapeutics. And congratulations, Harsha. Harsha is the inaugural recipient of the SEER Pharma Scholarship for GMP Studies. So we're delighted to have been able to award that to Harsha, and that scholarship, Cam will talk a bit more about scholarships later. Harsha is currently studying by distance mode, and she'll share some of her experience of the distance mode of study with you. Thanks, Harsha.
Thank you, Jacqueline, for the introduction. Hi, everyone. My name is Harsha, and I've been working in the biotech field for over 10 years now. I finished my studies in molecular and cell biology from University of California in the US. And then I worked in the FDA industry for 2 years and then moved to Australia. I've been working in the TGA regulated field for around 8 years now. And I came across the CA Pharma UTS course earlier last year and find it to be quite interesting. What really interested me in this course was the fact that it was a very practical and hands-on course, not just the technical, not just the knowledge, but also a lot of it was to do with the practical knowledge and a lot of assignments. So there aren't that many courses or academic programs that are being offered in GMP or related field. And this was one course that really directed me towards attaining that kind of knowledge, because I believe that even though you can work in the industry for quite a while, having that basic understanding is something that you need to develop further to gain and get further in your career. What I really liked about this course was that it was being offered fully online. I'm based in Perth, Australia, which is in a different state, and UTS is based in New South Wales, and I'm based in Perth. And what I found was it was becoming very challenging for me to find any courses or any training that was being offered in Perth. Also, this is because I work full time, it was very hard for me to do any course that was being offered physically at a university. So this was the first course that was structured to be taught and be offered fully online. What I also liked about this course is the structure, as Kamal has talked about previously, that you can start with your certificate, you can do your diploma, or you can go straight into your master's. And that actually gave me a good foot into the course, because I started with my diploma. And when, as Kamal said, that everyone who does the diploma actually gets further into it, and I started my master's program. It has been really good experience, and I have expanded my knowledge a lot, and as the courses and the assignments that I've done, they have added to my expertise. This is my 3rd semester. I've done 6 units so far, and I can say that every single unit has added a lot to my skill set and to my basic knowledge. Again, the main thing, one main thing that I would like to say is that the scholarship that the UTS and CA Pharma have collaborated with, that is also a very good means to help out the students. So thank you, CA Pharma and UTS, for collaborating and offering this course, and also for the scholarship. Thank you.
Thanks, Harsha. And if any of you have any questions for Khalil or Harsha, please put them in the chat, and then they'll be able to respond during question time at the conclusion of the presentation. So I'll hand back to Cam now to give you some information about the next steps if you'd like to consider studying GMP at UTS.
Thank you, Jacqueline, and thanks Khalil and Harsha. That was great, providing insight about the program. Now, every course at UTS, if you want to get it admitted, we have prerequisites. And so the same for the Good Manufacturing Practice program. So to get it admitted into the Good Manufacturing Practice program, if you are holding an undergraduate degree in any of the listed disciplines, starting from the pharmacy, pharmaceutical sciences to chemistry, biotech, bioinformatics, microbiology, food technology, cosmetics, nutraceuticals, science, medical sciences, engineering, and related technologies. Any of these disciplines, if you have an undergrad degree, you are eligible to apply for the Good Manufacturing Practice program. However, in case we were getting quite a significant interest in the past few years with the people, those who are holding an extensive industry experience, but they were not meeting the prerequisites. In that case also, we are able to actually get those people on our course enrolled on the basis of their CV and experience. So if someone doesn't have a bachelor's degree, but they are having at least say 2 years or more, or 1 year, or any kind of industry experience, which you would be able to demonstrate to us through a 1 page of or a half a page of a statement with your CV. We would be able to get it, screen that, and able to get back to you in case if interview is needed to learn more about you and your interest. And then accordingly, we put an offer that you are eligible to be, to join on this course or to get board on this course. So we got various people in the past, those who were having an industry experience, and they have even finished with us a master's course. So we were having a person who was having a diploma in engineering, but he was working in a pharmaceutical industry for a very long time. And then when he approached us, despite he was not having a basic undergraduate degree, but only holding a diploma, can make him to cover a postgraduate program with us. So this program is very unique in its various ways. So these are just in terms of the prerequisites. When it comes to the applying, how you are going to apply that course, at the end, I'm going to show you the link which you can be using it to put your application in. So when you have to put your application in, definitely if you are holding an undergrad degree, then or whatever the educational qualifications you got, you need all your academic transcripts to be uploaded, and they need to be recognized by UTS or an equivalent or an higher qualification. Now, if you don't have the degrees, or if you are trying to apply through the your experience, then we need your work experience or a CV along with a statement of interest showing why you want to get into this course and how this course is actually going to help you. In terms of the international students, definitely you need to meet the English requirements. While saying that, there are a lot of countries which are being exempted not to complete these English requirements, and you can be able to see that through the UTS web page under the English requirements, under the coursework. So this program of the GMP is a coursework program, and that will clearly tell you that your country whether allows or exempt the English requirements or not. Coming to the scholarships, we got a variety of scholarships which are being available for the Good Manufacturing Practice program. Harsha and Jacqueline has already just mentioned. Harsha is our inaugural recipient of the C Pharma scholarship, which has just been released last year in tie-up with C Pharma and UTS. This scholarship ranged from Australian dollar $2,000 to $8,000, and that will contribute towards your tuition fees. Now, it varies depending on what kind of the course you are actually enrolling yourself. So according to that, you can easily refer to the condition of the scholarships and the eligibility criteria through our UTS web page. If you put the title of the scholarship, you can easily find the details. So depending on the course you will enroll with us, whether it is a graduate certificate, diploma, or master's, according to that, the amount has been set. I think it's $2,000 for the cert, and $4,000 for the diploma, and $8,000 for the master's student. The second scholarship is a UTS Health Postgraduate Academic Excellence Scholarship. This is a scholarship which has just released last year, which contributes to the 25% of your tuition fees. This is a scholarship for international students, and when you submit your application, you need to tick on your application as well that you would like to be considered for this scholarship. And similarly, the other two scholarships which I'm going to talk, which are written underneath, for those scholarships also, you need to tick on your application once you submit in. And if you are an international student, that you would like to be considered. Because when you are going to refer these scholarships through the UTS web page, you will see that there are certain requirements you need to meet. And if you are meeting those requirements, then the international office or the admin staff will automatically take that in consideration and then let you know whether you're successful with the scholarship or not. The third scholarship is a postgraduate academic scholarship, which majority of our international students do get if they are meeting. There is a criteria as well, but this has been assessed by the international office as well. That gives you the first $5,000 towards your first set of the UTS tuition fees. That also you need to tick on your application that you would like to be considered for this scholarship. The next scholarship is an international postgraduate coursework full tuition scholarship. This is a very high caliber kind of a scholarship, which is being run throughout the university. So it means you are competing with all the different faculties and schools around the universities for this scholarship. You need to have a really very high end of a percentage or GPA to be eligible for this scholarship. And then the university assess on the basis of that. If you are successful, your whole tuition fees will be waived off for this scholarship. The last set of the scholarship is the Australian Award Scholarship. This is not a UTS based scholarship. This is an Australian government scholarship. This scholarship is actually for all the developing countries. We got 3 or 4 students with us, I think 3, 2 from Indonesia, 1 was from South America, and 1 from South Africa. So these are the people, those who came on our program for the master's program on this scholarship. This scholarship is such a unique scholarship that will give you the whole tuition fees for the 2 years, plus it will give you the living allowances for the 2 years of the duration when you are in the country pursuing the program. On top of that, it gives you to and fro your airfare, and also it gives you a certain professional development incentive each year for the duration of the time you are pursuing the course. Also, before actually you come to Australia, this scholarship, if you are successful, they give you some training back home before you actually arrive in Australia. What I have learned from the students, those who have done their master's program with us. So this is a great opportunity for the students from the developing countries or for the Indo-Pacific region countries. Please do look at this scholarship if you think you are eligible. I am not sure exactly what's the deadline and all. You would be easily able to browse through Google, have a go and have a look. And if you're eligible, please seek for any of those scholarships where you think you are eligible. Now, how to apply? As I mentioned previously, that there are prerequisites, and if not prerequisites, you are supporting yourself through the CV or your professional experience. We do consider, and I'm happy to talk any point of time if you need any further clarifications, or Jacqueline or any of our students. Khalil is here, Harsha is there now, and you can contact through email as well. While at the end of this, we are going to show you an email on which you can send any of your queries, and that if the professional staff or the admin staff unable to answer that, it could be directed to me or any of our academic staff. We would be able to get back to you as early as possible. So for domestic students, they can apply directly to UTS while there is no application fee. For international student also currently, if I'm not mistaken, majority of the application fee is being waived off. However, you need to still check when you are going to apply, but you can request the international office for that as well. For both the domestic students and the international student, the deadline of the submission of your application for the spring, which is starting in July, is the 30th of June. And we are currently welcoming and seeking applications for the spring session. However, if you want for autumn as well, you can submit your application, but it can be gradually assessed because the priority would be given those who are going to start in the spring session. In terms of the domestic students, there is a course fee assistance, which most of the students try to use through the fee help, which is a kind of a loan, and that scheme actually assists the eligible fee paying students, and it's a kind of a government initiative. International students must submit their application through a different link, which is there, while the domestic students, you can see there's another link. So you have to use this link. And at the end of this presentation, after the question answer sessions, at some point of time, our marketing would be sending you a copy of this presentation through email. So when you are going to receive that, it means you are going to have all this information. You need not have to take note of and everything. You would be able to directly have this information and use the links to submit your application. Now that ends with our today's Good Manufacturing Practice information session, and we are open to the questions. And I think before we jump into the questions, I think it would be good actually this email ID, which is there on the screen, and I'm going to put this throughout our question answer session. is the best email ID if you have any questions or clarifications you need, or any further information if we are unable to have in today's info session. You can write to gsh.future@uts.edu.au. That's the email ID where you can reach us. And also you can follow us on the UTS Graduate School of Health social media on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, where you do get an update about most of the programs, not most, all the programs we have at the Graduate School of Health, including Good Manufacturing Practice, where we do post our success stories, any scholarship or any new announcements is there. So if you follow that, you would be updated as well. I think the session is now, I would like to open it for questions. And I can see that there are certain questions I'm already having in the chat, which I'm going to read. And then if anyone got any questions, then you can either unmute yourself and ask directly to me, Jacqueline, or Khalil and Harsha. And if you want to just type, please type it in the chat. So there is a question from Anastasia. By completing the certificate course, make the diploma shorter and the master course shorter. I think that's correct. So like Harsha started with us on the graduate certificate, and now once she finished her certificate of the 4 subjects, and she had directly applied for the master. So it means the master has a 16 subjects. So those 4 subjects would be taken in consideration. So we call it as credit recognition. So all those 4 subjects you will get a credit recognition, and you would be able to directly pursue the remaining subjects. Harsha, you want to add on it?
No, I agree with what you said, Kamal. Thank you.
Right. Thanks, Harsha. So Anastasia, I hope that does make sense to you. Okay, so there's another question. Vanessa, for online student, is it possible to take exams anytime? And I'm sure Jacqueline would be able to answer that for you, Vanessa.
Yes, I'll take that one. Well, first thing is most of the subjects don't have exams. Most of the assessment of your success in the subjects is by assessment rather than by exam. But I think perhaps your question is more about how the timetabling works for the online subjects. They are run only in certain semesters, and they do have assignments which are due throughout the semester to try and keep students on track. So you'll find that there are assignments due, mini assignments due most weeks, and then more major assignments at various times during the semester. And each of those assignments does have a designated due date. There aren't exams, so it's not that you have to sit and do a task at a certain time, like at 9 o'clock on Tuesday, but the assessments do all have specified due dates. You have to have them finished by a certain time and have them submitted by then. I hope that answers your question, Vanessa. If you'd like to know anything more about that, please either put something else in the chat or unmute and ask us directly.
Thanks, Jacqueline. So we got next question from Zahra. Hi, I'm a master's degree graduate from Syria in the major of pharmaceutical chemistry and drug quality control. My question is, am I eligible to apply to the master program of GMP at UTS? So the answer is yes. So we got various students on board in the past from the last 3 years, those who have came to do this program as their second postgraduate degree. There were certain students, those who are having a master's in quality control, master in pharmacy, and they have already, actually some of them have finished and they are already in industry after completing Master of Good Manufacturing program. So yes, you would be able to enroll into the program. Is there an aspect focusing on herbal drugs quality control in this program? I think there are a variety of subjects. There would be definitely in some of the subjects. I'm sure Jacqueline would be able to answer that. Jacqueline, would you like to answer that in any of our subjects we are focusing on the herbal drug quality control?
Yes, I can comment on that. There isn't a major part of any subject which focuses on herbal drug quality control. In the subject International GMPs and Quality Assurance, which is the compulsory subject, we do spend some time looking at various categories of medicines, such as prescription medicines, over-the-counter medicines, and complementary medicines, which does cover some aspects of herbal medicines. And what we tried to do during that course is not so much to teach students the requirements for all kinds of medicines, but to teach students skills and methods for locating guidance documents that relate to those medicines and to understand how to interpret and apply those guidance documents.
Thanks, Jacqueline. So Zara has also asked us, is there a fellow PhD program available after this program? So yes, we do have PhD, but not specifically, we have a PhD in good manufacturing practice. We call PhD in pharmaceutical sciences. You can apply for that, where you can have a project towards GMP, but your degree would be in the pharmaceutical sciences because it comes under the discipline of pharmacy. So like in discipline of pharmacy, you have various biology projects, we have pharmacy focused projects, we have practice focused, and so as industry also comes under pharmacy. So if anyone is interested in doing a PhD particularly focused and rationalized toward good manufacturing practice, if you got any project in your mind and you want to do, please contact me directly. I'm happy to discuss it with you and happy to discuss as a potential supervisor. And then it is a competitive process to get a PhD in UTS, because if you're looking for a scholarship, you need to put your application in, and that definitely need some kind of a publications on your CV in the past, because that is one of the major criteria which is usually assessed against the other applications they get in the university. So if you're looking for scholarship, that is more important. Until and unless if you got your own set of money and you paying, then you need not have to go through that competitive round. However, people normally come to do PhD on both the tuition fees and the living allowances scholarship, which actually go through a competitive round depending, and it counts on your academic merits, your publications, your conferences, your achievements, any awards, all these things gives you points. And depending on that, you compete with number of the applications school has received. And if you're successful, then you mostly will get both the scholarships. And this is what I'm talking for the international, and the same run for the domestic as well. Okay, so the next question is, no, there is no question. Now we are.
Sorry, Cam. I've got a couple that have been sent to me directly.
Yeah.
The first one is, sorry, I can't remember if either Harsha or Khalil, which student it was, but for the student who, or the graduate who studied online, what was it like to study a full-time postgraduate course online? Was that either Harsha or Khalil?
Yeah, it's Harsha. Harsha, you want to answer that, please?
Yes, hi. So yes, I have been taking the online courses or online units for 3 semesters now. It can be challenging if you don't discipline yourself and if you don't follow the weekly schedule. Otherwise, I think it's quite good as well, because depending on your workload. So for me, I like to study and work around my schedule, and that's usually around either in the evenings or around the weekends. But it has been quite good for me, because it's better for me to actually plan my own schedule than to be working around the courses that are being offered at the university. So I would say the structure is quite comfortable. You can actually plan quite well to make sure that you follow the course throughout.
Right. Thank you. Thanks, Harsha. James, what other questions you got for us?
The next one is, are summer sessions available for any of the subjects in order to lighten the load of the course overall, if I'm studying?
Okay, so we don't have any specific summer sessions. We run only on a semester kind. We don't have any summer courses or those kind of things. We just run semester by semester. And if you want to take, you know, in autumn. So particularly what it happened is we also offer as individual subjects. So some of the people, they don't want to do a certificate, diploma and master, but for their own interest knowledge, they want to do, say, a one subject. They can do that as well. They can enroll in one subject, but you need to be really mindful of which semester, whether it is an autumn or a spring session, it is been offering. You can enroll in one subject as well, but not leading to a diploma, degree, or certificate. But we don't have any specific summer school kind of a thing where we are giving any particular courses. You can enroll in the specific semester. You have.
I'd just add, the student was
Yes.
asking about sort of lightening the load or spreading the load by doing summer subjects. Most students are eligible to study part-time if they wish to. I believe that students who come here on an international visa, there are some restrictions about that for them. But for domestic students, studying part-time is an option, and you can study just 2 subjects per semester, for example, if you have other commitments that would make full-time study difficult.
Yeah, so thanks, Jacqueline. So for international students, particularly when you come to do this program with us, you need to definitely enroll in 18 credit points. So you can't take a study load less than 18 credit points, which is 3 subjects. You must have 3 subjects per semester for international students. But the beauty of this course is when the international student pursues this course and they come onshore to do that program, they automatically, till now, it is still existing according to the Department of Home Affairs, or what you call Department of Immigration. You automatically, on the completion of the course, get a 2 years full work right visa to stay in a country. So that means after you finish the program of a 2 years duration, 2 years, you can full-fledged work in any industry. You would be able to seek opportunities. And most of our students, they are so fortunate that while they are finishing their program in their final semesters, and whatever the companies they are seeking their projects, those companies, they actually have been continuing their jobs. That's what kind of a scenario we have observed. And I'm sure Khalil would be able to add, giving some few examples and his own experience as well. Khalil?
Yeah, so I've done the 2-year post-study as part of my previous degree, and that was quite easy to do in the last semester. Just towards the end of the degree, I think you need a course completion certificate, and after that you can apply for this visa, and it allows you to work for 2 years with no work restrictions of any kind in that sense. I've got classmates who will be applying for it now, and classmates from the previous semester who already applied for it and are using that as well.
Yeah, thanks, Khalil. Thank you for that. James, any other questions? Or anyone got any questions, please feel free to either type or either feel free to unmute yourself and ask. Be happy to answer any questions.
I've just got, sorry, Cam. I've just got one more, and I think it's a fairly simple one. How many students get admitted into the course approximately each intake?
So we got actually 2 intakes, autumn and spring, and currently the borders are closed, unfortunately. So you won't believe there's a big list of international students which are sitting with us because they're just waiting for the borders to open. However, there are a lot of international students, those who have already enrolled with us, and they're taking their classes from their country. And they've just been waiting as soon as the borders will open so that they can come onshore and resume their rest of the subjects onshore with us. So at this point of time, I would really like to say, in terms of the number of the students, we get per semester around sometimes 20, 22, 15, 20, or 22. So in both those sessions, we have around a sum of around 30 or 30 plus kind of intake, because this is a master's program. I'm only talking about the onshore one, but the distance are different from that. So distance also we get it's lesser in number because it attracts more of the domestic students, but international, it has started giving attention now, and we are getting quite a number of international student applicants as well. That's the question, that's the answer in terms of numbers. But as I said that the borders are still closed, but that doesn't mean that you won't be able to pursue the course. You would still, because that borders are not going to be closed for very long. They will open at some point of time, either this year or early next year. And we are really hopeful it should be soon. So we have already, there are certain students, those who have enrolled in the last 1 year, are already pursuing that course with us, despite enrolled on an on-campus standard mode, but they're taking these classes remotely because we are not still back on campus. Everything is being run through over the Zoom. So Jacqueline, you want to add on that? We have a student from Mexico even who is doing this course. We have students from India. Jacqueline, do you want to add, please?
Yes, so in the last 2 semesters, actually the last 3 semesters now, we've been running classes remotely, even for students who are enrolled as on-campus standard mode students because of COVID. However, in the next semester, so the spring intake that we're currently seeking applications for, our intention is to run classes on campus, but we do know that some students, whether they're interstate or international, won't be able to come to UTS for on-campus classes in this coming semester due to COVID restrictions. And we are accommodating those, we will be accommodating those students in our on-campus classes. So we'll be trying to devise, we're working on it at the moment, we'll be devising some means by which students who do live locally can attend campus, and students who do not live locally, who live overseas, will be able to participate through some kind of video conferencing mechanism. So as Cam said, if you are overseas and are not able to come to Australia at this point in time, you can still enroll to study by the standard on-campus mode, where you'll benefit from online but face-to-face teaching. The alternative is for students to study by distance mode, which is a much more independent line of study, as I explained earlier. So people do need to think about what form of study will suit them.
Thanks, Jacqueline. So there's a couple more questions we'll quickly take and we'll end the session. So someone has asked me about the course fees per semester. So it's not a per semester. Here, the fees can be counted as per subject you take. Now, I think the best thing to know about the course fee is there is a fee calculator on the UTS website. So if you go on if you just type on a UTS website, UTS fee calculator, you would be able to go directly there. And then you have to just select the coursework, and you have to select the Graduate School of Health. And then you can see, depending on how many subjects you are taking, you would be able to see what's the fee you'll be paying for that. Tanya had asked, I think, Jacqueline, that question goes to you. Can you estimate an approximate study time allowance for the online course when working full time? How much time should you set aside each week? Example, 10 to 20 hours per week. I think that goes to both you and Harsha, actually.
Yeah, I'll take it from a theoretical standpoint, and Harsha can comment from her personal experience onto that. So we intend that the online study should take a student between 3 and 6 hours per week per subject. So if you're studying 2 subjects, which would be a common part-time load, that would be 6 to 12 hours per week for the 2 subjects, 3 to 6 hours per week for 1 subject as a distance learning student. And in fact, for our on-campus students, we expect students to put in 1 to 3 hours per week of study each week prior to class, and then we have a 3-week class. So I don't know, Harsha, how has it been for you in terms of hours per week, do you think?
Yep, so it's kind of the right amount. So I work full-time as well, and I'm taking the courses part-time, the units. I'm doing 2 units per semester, and around 4 hours is what I put per subject or per unit. So it kind of calculates to around 8 to 10 hours. Obviously, when we have assignments due, which are the, I think there's 4 per unit, there's around 4 assignments that are due within the semester. That week, obviously, it can be a bit longer, so I dedicate my Saturday to do that assignment. But otherwise, just 4 hours per unit is quite a reasonable time.
Thanks, Harsha. And I know that it wasn't Tanya's specific question, but Khalil, would you like to comment on the kind of time commitment you've experienced as an on-campus student?
Yeah, so most of our lectures have been 3 hours. And I've been taking 4 subjects a semester, so that's, doing my math right, 12 hours,
12 hours.
per week of just the lectures. Separately from that, between 1 to 3 hours per subject per week goes into the preparation of the class. It's the style of teaching which requires preparation before you come to the class. So you have to go through the material and see what all is in there. And as far as assessments, similar to I think what Harsha experiences, but depends on which assessment and what percentage it counts towards the final mark. It can be anywhere from a few hours to maybe like a day or so of proper researching into the assignments as well.
And Khalil, you referred to the classes as a 3-hour lecture. Maybe you could just describe what happens in that 3 hours. I wouldn't like students to think they're going to sit there for 3 hours and listen to a lecture.
Yeah. So the lectures, they go with a mode using something called Canvas. Basically, there's a lot of material that's available. There are modules available online that you can go and access and read through, and that provides a basis of what's going to happen in the class. And within the class itself, most of the time is spent doing workshops. So you're discussing with other students and you're discussing with the lecturers different scenarios, different case studies, and using that learning that you have done for the class and applying that to the workshop itself.
Thanks, Khalil.
Thank you.
Thanks, Khalil. Thanks, Jacqueline, and thanks, Harsha. So I think, does anyone got any more question? It's a last shout, and then we will end the session.
Hi, Kamal. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear. Is it Kishore?
Yes, speaking. I think we've got a few of us. I think we've got a few of us here from New Zealand. I just wanted to ask, not with regards to remote learning, but more with regards to the assessment method. Now, keeping in mind that quite a few of us will be, accessing this course if we do decide to register for it via remote learning. I do understand that based on your presentation, one of your assessment methods is group assignments, and of course that involves a certain level of collaboration. That will of course present disadvantages to those of us who are going to be participating in that remotely. Are you taking those disadvantages from remote learning into consideration when you are performing your assessment on the students that are doing distance learning?
Yeah, so I'm sure Jacqueline is there, and even Harsha can add, because Harsha had done few already group activities as well. Jacqueline.
Could I just check, Kishore, before we answer, you're referring to students studying by distance mode. You're not referring to students in New Zealand who would like to come to Australia but can't yet.
Yes, I'm referring to students who would be connecting remotely and doing remote learning from places like New Zealand.
Yes. So that's all distance learning.
Yeah, and Harsha, I see you unmuted there. Perhaps you could share your experience of doing group work through the remote learning. And maybe you might cover the discussion posts as well as assignments.
Yep, sure. So as a part of the weekly discussion, you have to put your posts online, and then you have, and you also have to comment on other people's posts as well. So that actually is quite a unique experience in itself. And we have discussed this previously as well, where you actually learn a lot more. And I don't think that's a disadvantage. Even if you're not in the class discussing, these posts actually provide you a lot more information, and you have people coming from different fields. So that's one thing. And in terms of the assignments, I have done 3 assignments, I believe, so far, where we had to discuss it, where we had to do it as a group. And it wasn't actually that bad, because we all worked around a weekend or an evening. And to be honest, my the group people that I had, they actually were in different parts of of Australia. So I was in Perth, and there were some from Melbourne and some from Sydney, and we still were able to plan it out really well and deliver quite a good assignment. So I didn't find it challenging if you plan it in advance. So
thanks, Harsha. And I'll add to that, Kishore, that as Harsha said, and as we've all experienced with the recent COVID difficulties, people are becoming more and more familiar with and competent with working together, even though they're not physically together. It's up to the groups who are assigned to manage time differences. So once a group is assigned, they can find out who's in the group, when would be a good time to meet. The group mutually agrees on that and then meets via Zoom or through WhatsApp chats or whatever suits them. I have been teaching remotely this last semester in a class that comprises approximately 50% students from overseas countries and 50% students who are here in Australia. And because of the quite significant time difference, there were a number of students studying from India in this class last semester. And I assigned them to the same work group to assist them with time differences, because the time difference was quite significant. Between New Zealand and Australia, probably not the case, but certainly we look at the student makeup and consider setting groups that would make time differences less substantial for them. Does that answer your question? Would you like to ask anything else around that kind of issue?
No, that clarifies things. Cheers. Cheers. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Kishore, as you mentioned that there would be a group of people, those who like from your end, who are going to be enrolled into the course. So as Jacqueline mentioned, it would be a degree of flexibility where Jacqueline or Rick or other lecturers might be able to allocate a group within among you guys. From maybe you are from the same company, 3 people, maybe a one group, so that at least you guys can meet at your ease. Like I was yesterday examining a presentation with Jacqueline in the evening, and one of the candidates was from Mexico, other was from Melbourne, and the third one, I think 2 were from, no, other one was from Newcastle. So yeah, so it's just all depends on the, how you can make the, flexibility. And we are very flexible actually in terms of the course, because we understand not only just the time constraint, while the people, those who are already working, they need to take on time to study this course. So definitely when it comes to the distance learning or the online learning mode, we have all these things on board, and it's very flexible. It's nothing like that there would be a pressure. There would be a pressure for assessments, but not to the extent normally the on-campus or a full-time students normally get that. Thanks, Kishore. All right, so if you got any more questions for us, so it's a good spot, gsh.future@uts.edu.au. And please feel free if you want to contact me directly. I'm sure you would be able to find my email through Google and UTS, and otherwise write to this email, or Jacqueline's also from our course booklet, which is on the CPharma website as well. You'll find our details. Feel free to contact us, but the application deadlines are on, as I mentioned to you, is just 1 minute. I think it's for the 30th of June is the application closing date for both domestic and international. However, if international student, they skip the date for any reason, I had a discussion with the international office. We do consider on case-to-case basis. So if there's any problem, either with domestic or international, please feel free to reach me. I'm more than happy to help to the best I can. And wish you all very good. We're looking forward to your applications.
I might just comment too, in case it's relevant, Kishore, to you and your colleagues, that and don't take me exactly to have the right information here, but I believe that New Zealand citizens are considered as domestic students for UTS.
That's right. That's right.
So you can check that on the UTS website, but it may be that you classify as domestic rather than international if you are New Zealand citizens.
No, that's right. I think it is considered as a domestic students, and you would be even eligible to apply for a CPharma scholarship, which is meant purely for the domestic students. We have students actually from different states of Australia at the moment, from Brisbane, from Queensland, Victoria. Harsha is there from Perth, from Western Australia. So we got different people from different, even Australia got some states at different time zones as well. So, and they all are working in different industries as well. So I'm sure if you get in touch with some of those people, they are on LinkedIn as well, you would be able to gain more insights into the program. But feel free to reach Harsha as well. I'm sure, Harsha, would you mind if anyone will reach you directly to ask about a distance learning program?
No, none at all. Feel free to.
Oh, thanks, Harsha. That's great. Yeah, so thank you, everyone. And we're looking forward to your application and seeing you on board of the program in spring semester 2021. So thanks, James, for organizing the event and for setting up everything for us. Really appreciate. Thanks to Khalil and Harsha for sparing their time and coming along with me, and Jacqueline sharing your views on the program. Khalil is about to just complete the course in another 1 month, while Harsha has to still go some more semesters with us to complete masters. And likewise, we're looking forward to seeing you guys. And thanks, Jacqueline, for being with me for this info session. Really appreciate everyone's time and support. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
And